Mr. Coffey, you want to join us as a guest shooter of shit? If you're there.
Oh, I was talking and my mic was up. No, I'm good. I'll sit in the background and listen to y'all crazy people. I might interject off and on. I'll let the professionals handle this.
Hello again, odds and ensers, in and outers, like and subbers, twist and shouters, and welcome back to another edition of Shoot the Shit Saturday right here on Odds and Ends Gaming. I am joined today by the hostess with the mostest, Valkyrie Grinder.
That's me.
And we've got two guest podcasters here today. One of our usuals, Jess, who's with us.
I am full of anger and rage. Also, hello.
Wow, what an intro. And also possibly joining us, hither and thither is Mr. Coffey, actually. We've talked a lot about him, and you may have seen him on the chat, but he's here, as he put it, in the background today, so we may hear from him, but he has said he won't have too much to say. We'll wait to see if that actually happens. And I, of course, am the one and only highly rated, armor-plated, imitated, but never ever duplicated Espionage DB7.
So I don't even get like a chance to say hi. Okay.
You're
See what he does to me as the moderator? Do you see this?
Did he not literally say, "Oh, I'll let the professionals handle this. You guys do it. I'll just be here. I won't say much. I'll be in the background. Delegate myself to the back of the room." Type. And
That is not the point. The point is we need to discuss what just happened here.
so anyway, yes, the reason we're all full of piss and vinegar, so to speak, is because we actually just got done watching the latest episode of The Last of Us, and we kind of actually watch it as kind of a group thing, and we've been doing it since the start of the show, and we're just blown away by this episode. Jess, since you seem like the most eager to get going, I'll actually open the floor, let you get your thoughts out there. Spoilers ahead, by the way, so if you haven't seen the 5th episode, we're going to spoil the hell out of it, so yeah, go ahead, take it away.
So, why the heck is it always kids? I have enough issues trying to keep the ones I have alive on a daily, but every time it's kids. What is it with this show and kids? I'm losing my damn mind. Excuse my language.
Well,
Jesus.
You just answered your question right there.
Exactly.
The reaction answers that question.
It incites a reaction, an emotional response, and not only that, but that shit happens. Kids are not like immune with plot armor in the real world. In the real world, unfortunately, sadly, children do die.
And crazy lady pointed that out too. Just
fuck that. I have shit to say about her. Okay.
I cheered her to death. I will not lie. I cheered that shit.
So,
but go ahead.
I want to, if I can, I just want to give a quick synopsis of the episode before we go all crazy. So, for anyone who's seen the first 4 episodes, and again, like I said, spoilers, so if you haven't seen the 5th episode, you may want to tune out now. But basically, the episode starts off giving us a bit of background of Sam and Henry. Long story short, Sam and Henry are 2 brothers. There's an older one, maybe early 20s, which is Henry, and then Sam is the younger brother. He's about 8 years old. They are on the run from this lady named Kathleen and her gang, which is the Resistance. Apparently they've taken over Kansas City, which was previously run by Fedra, a remnant of the government that has been a very fascist order. And apparently they abuse, execute, rape, whatever, people because they're fascist fucks. However, this resistance group doesn't seem all that much better. So their first act has been to round up any members of Fedra, execute them in the worst way possible, drag them through the street and whatnot. And apparently Henry was what is known as a collaborator, basically somebody who works for Fedra, I guess kind of like a mole within the resistance, but feeding information to Fedra, basically a rat. And he gave up one of the highest ranking members of the Resistance, who is also this woman, Kathleen's brother. Now, if you don't remember Kathleen from episode 4, Kathleen is this lady, very short, stocky woman, who looks like she would be the leader of the PTA. but she is grade A psycho bitch. Like for real. Like no qualms about killing, no fucking like remorseless dead eyes in my. And she has this little voice like, oh, I don't think that's gonna work out so well for you. But like she has this little kindness to her voice, but it's with just sheer malice, just nefariousness. Anyway, that dude that Henry gave up was her brother, so now she is out for vengeance. The reason it's found out that Henry gave up Kathleen's brother is because they had leukemia meds to help save Sam, his little brother, who apparently had leukemia, but there were meds that were able to treat it. So, it's like, it's not something that he wanted to do, but he did it for his brother, for the love of his brother, and now, he's being hunted by Kathleen and her gang of killers, whatever. Anyway, this is where we kind of catch up with the last episode where Joel crashed his truck into the laundromat, killed off some of Kathleen's people, and now they took refuge in one of the high rises and were greeted by gunpoint by Sam and Henry. Henry tells Joel their backstory, and he's like, look, I'm not a fighter, I don't know how to defend myself, but I know this city like the back of my hand. If you help us out, you clear any obstacles or whatnot, you guys are obviously well equipped, I will show you the way out. So they kind of work together. They clear a way to these suburbs on the outskirts of the city, work their way through some tunnel complex underneath the city, and manage to get out into the suburbs. Unfortunately, one lone old fuck member of the resistance is stationed out there in the house, can't shoot for shit, but is
Sniper Joe.
Sniper, is that his real name?
No, I'm just calling him Sniper Joe.
Well, Sniper Joe, yeah, he's out there trying to, I don't know if he was actually trying to kill them or just pin them down and keep them, suppressed. But anyway, Joel manages to flank his position, go around to the back of the house, and encounters him in his room. And he's this old-ass man who actually, Joel tells him, look, just drop the gun, give me the gun, we'll leave, and, we'll let you live. But unfortunately,
he also says please, too. It's kind of heartbreaking the way he says it. But yeah, because you can tell Joel just doesn't want to kill anybody.
Joe clearly doesn't want to execute this guy, but he gives him no choice because he tries to turn his gun on Joe, which Joe's quicker, and he already had his gun on him, so unfortunately Joe has to take the shot, at which point we hear Sniper Joe's radio come on. It's Kathleen saying, just keep them there, we're on our way. At which point, this is where all hell breaks loose. So the whole convoy of resistance, including Kathleen, come. They're plowing through cars. They are fucking on their way with a vengeance, literally, because this Kathleen person has like a vengeance boner for Henry. And I love, there's one scene that I absolutely love where it is explained why Kathleen wants Henry so badly. And she's like, I know my brother wanted me to forgive, and it almost seems like they're trying to give her a sympathetic angle and make her that sympathetic villain, but then she comes out with, fuck that, why am I gonna forgive? What, look, he forgave everybody, look what it got him, I don't care, I'm gonna just kill this, not in exactly those words, but basically saying fuck forgiveness, I'm gonna kill this asshole. And I love how they did that, because it was almost like, she's not such a bad person. She's doing it for the love of her brother. But then she's like, yeah, I know my brother wanted me to forgive. Fuck that, I'm gonna kill him. So yeah, she's evil, or she's at least just fucking got such a rage boner that it's turned her evil. But anyway,
indeed.
So they finally reach Henry and Ellie and Sam, who are pinned down. Joel's still in the house with the sniper rifle, and Joel manages to snipe the guy of one of the big, it's like a tanker truck that's plowing through all the cars. The guy veers off, crashes into a house, and the truck kind of explodes. But at this point, it seems like, everybody's done for, because they're all surrounded. Sam, Henry, and Ellie are pinned down, and Kathleen's about to kill Sam. That's when the truck that crashed in the house starts to rumble, and it goes under, like a fucking sinkhole opens up, and the truck goes underground. And at that moment, it's like you can hear the Left 4 Dead horde music, because a fucking horde comes up from the ground and just starts tearing shit up. So everything gets lost in the fray, in the frenzy. And then we see for the first time, and I swear, at this moment, I could hear the Left 4 Dead tank music. A fucking bloater comes out from underground. And this is fucking Brock Lesnar, Brock Samson, fucking Incredible Hulk, all rolled into one. This thing just starts fucking... It rips... This one poor guy, a bearded guy for the Resistance, who I actually had some respect for, it rips this fucker's head off. Like...
Yep.
No,
fast in a hurry.
Yeah, he just grabs him and fucking tears his head off his neck. And, you know, the fray gives Sam, Ellie, and Henry enough chance to kind of disperse and get away. Ellie gets into a car, which is safe for a little bit before a clicker actually makes its way in there. She manages to get out. Joel, meanwhile, is picking off, you know...
A young Olympic gymnast clicker, by the way.
Yeah.
He does cartwheels and flips and splits and all that kind of shit.
Hey, if she couldn't before, maybe the infection gave her the ability to do it afterwards. I don't know. But anyway, meanwhile, Joel's picking him off. Ellie gets the fuck out of the car and spots Henry and Sam nearby under another vehicle being attacked by some clickers, you know, reaching and grabbing at them. She manages to go and stab them in the head with her knife, saving them. Then the three of them get out and they run, only to be confronted by Kathleen again. Like, even in the midst of all this, her hatred just has enveloped her to the point that she doesn't care what the fuck is going on. She wants to kill Henry. But while she has her gun trained on Henry, she doesn't notice the fucking clicker coming up behind her, which
Who's a kid, by the way? It was like a
little girl.
Like
it was the same kid. Olympic cartwheel split person.
Oh, was it the same one from in the car?
It was the same one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same one from the car.
Well, yeah. So this clicker gets a hold of
Mary Lou Retton clicker,
and you know it's thorough in her slicing and dicing of Kathleen. So yeah, I was kind of happy to see her get her ass fucked, you know, ass kicked, ass killed, whatever. And
we'll fix that in the editing.
Well, anyway, so Joel meets up with them, and they all get away to a hotel room where it's like nice and relaxed, and like we can take a breather now. Meanwhile, in the back room, Ellie and Sam, who have become good friends, are reading a comic book. They start having a conversation, and that is when, as Mr. Coffey put it a little earlier, gut punch. I verbally said, fuck! When Sam reveals that he's been bit.
I told Val that when that scene was playing, I was like, something bad's gonna happen. I just know it because we can't have nice things.
You can't like any characters in this goddamn show. And it's like other series too. Like for example, Sons of Anarchy. Every likable character you like in that show gets got.
Well, they build them up so you like them, so that there's more of an emotional response. But this is actually from the game. But anyway,
I'm not that far.
Poor Ellie. She thinks that she can cure him. She actually cuts her hand and spreads her blood on his wound, thinking that, as she put it...
That was an amazing scene.
As she put it to Sam, my blood is medicine. She thought she could cure him. In the morning, she wakes up and she sees Sam sitting with his back to her on the bed. And she thinks that he's just pondering or something. She goes out, taps the back of his back, and that's when Sam reveals that he has fully turned and attacks her. They break through the door, and she is trying her best to keep the now infected Sam from biting her. And Henry and Joel realize what's going on. Joel goes for the gun. Henry gets it first, points it at Joel, tells him, you know, back up. And then, in one of the most unexpected things, at least to me, Henry does the only logical thing and kills his own brother. His own brother, who he basically betrayed the entire resistance for, got Kathleen's brother killed, and tried to, get through, the entire city of Kansas, only to end up killing him in the end. And then immediately he goes into that regret. And I knew, I think anybody knew as soon as he said, "What have I done?" Because he goes, "What have I done? What did I do?" Everybody knew he was going to turn the gun on himself, which is exactly what he does. Turns the gun in himself, and we cut to Joe and Ellie digging graves for their new lost friends. And they walk away towards the west. And now we are waiting episode 6. But how is it that every episode of this show is better than the previous one?
I agree, but it's tragic.
I mean, it had me on the edge of my seat. To me, it was a great episode. It was tragic, but it was a fantastic episode. Like Mike said, that moment, my blood is medicine. And where she tried to save, Sam, that was heartbreaking. That was tragic.
Yeah.
Do you think that amplified the infection?
No. I think, if anything, maybe it slowed it down, because I've heard that they turn within a matter of, within an hour or two, and this seems like they went the whole night. So maybe it slowed it down, but, not being distilled into an actual plasma or IV or something, it was nowhere near enough to hold back the infection. But if anything, my opinion is that it kind of slowed it down. Because unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Coffey, you'd probably be the better person to answer this. Didn't they say that the infection, it takes maybe within an hour or two?
Honestly, I thought it was during an episode previously. They said it could take up to 3 days. I guess it just depends on the severity of the bite. I mean, I could have sworn I saw that. But honestly, this was a really good episode, and I'm so sorry, Mr. Coffey. I know it was your turn, but I still feel like the first episode is my favorite by far. It kicks off everything, but I still just have this fondness of, not fondness, that's not the, I don't know, the first episode's my favorite one. But I like this one too, but it's still fucking shit, these kids.
Yeah, I was wondering when they agreed that, we're gonna team up together. I was like, now something's gonna happen, that they're either gonna have to go their separate ways, or I was wondering how it was going to take Sam and Henry out of the equation. Because, and Mr. Coffey has been kind of writing me about this. Apparently, a version of this happens in the game. I did play and beat the game through to completion, but it was years ago, and I only beat it once. And I can honestly say that I do not remember Sam and Henry. And I know I didn't skip any of the game. I just don't remember them. But, holy shit, this was tragic. And I feel bad for not remembering them from my playthrough. I feel how the hell do I not remember these characters? And like Mr. Coffey had mentioned to me, that this was the second biggest gut punch in the game. And yeah, and I don't know, I don't remember these characters, and I'm sorry that I don't, because it was an amazing story. And I know it's not exactly the same characters from in the game, but yeah, I just don't recall them. But no, I The Last of Us, for anyone who is a fan, fantastic story thus far. They're definitely not straying too far away from the source material, while at the same time, being faithful, and telling their own story. The Bill and Frank episode was definitely not the way it played out in the game, but it was still very touching, tragic, and engrossing. It was a very well told episode. So, HBO has definitely told us that it's not following the game to the T, but it is definitely honoring that source material and not straying too far from it. So, you don't have to have played the game to enjoy the show, but if you
you will get it on a deeper level if you do.
Yes. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I can definitely see that as someone who hasn't played the game. And I fully believe that just on the basis of the episodes that I have seen thus far, that it's definitely a show that will make you want to play the game just to get that more context if you're that kind of person. At least that's what it's doing to me. It definitely makes me want to play The Last of Us. So.
Indeed, it's an amazing experience.
So
if it doesn't make me want to, cry my eyes out every 5 minutes, like this dang show does.
Right.
Poor Sam. Well, in other news, what did y'all think? There's a couple big trailers that have come out recently. The two that kind of caught my attention on Super Bowl Sunday last week were the new Flash trailer, and
that's my jam,
and the Super Mario Brothers commercial.
I
didn't see that one.
I didn't see any of the trailers per se, or watch. Actually, I really didn't watch the game, but my team did win the Super Bowl, so I was really.
You had a team and you didn't watch?
No, well, I support my dad, who's like the major fan. But Mahomes, yeah, I would have to say he is, yeah, he's a really good player. Don't ask me what he, I can't go into more details. I just know who he is, and that he's 27, and that he
like short walks on the beach and romantic getaway.
No, and that he was. Okay, so no, and first off, he's married and he has like 2 kids, but. The thing that's probably the only player I know on that team, because that's like around the time when when he won the first Super Bowl a few years ago, like Heather,
like 3 or 4.
It was kind of a sentimental moment because so as I mentioned, my dad's like a real big fan. Like he's from Erie, so you'd think he'd be a Steelers fan, but he's a Chiefs fan, and so he was like, I don't care like if the like if they win or lose, as long as I get to see them like do the Super Bowl like at least one time, that I'm alive, because that's what he said. He just wanted to see them make it to the Super Bowl, and my dad's well, mind you, but he calls Heather his good luck charm because she was just banging on this little this drum that he uses to root on the team, and they end up winning the Super Bowl. She had to be like 1 or 2. No, she had to be 1, maybe. She's still a baby.
1.5.
Now. Yeah, she's 4 now. But my point is like, she did something again. Was wearing the hat because I had a Chiefs hat, and she wore it the day they Super Bowl took place, and they won. So she is my dad's good luck charm for the team.
That's adorable, and I love it.
Right, that's cute. But I have diabetes, so watch how cute you. I mean, that was good.
And I was ranting at Val the other day because we were talking about this very topic, and I didn't even know, because I don't really watch football. I invested enough to see when and if my team wins or loses, and that's pretty much it. Which my team is not the Chiefs. I am a Cowboys fan. Judge me all you want. I don't care. But
that's right. We're sorry.
Oh my God. But I told Val and I were discussing it, and she was like, "So who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?" I'm like, "The Super Bowl? Who's even in the Super Bowl?" And she goes, "The Chiefs and whoever is in Philadelphia. I think it's the Seahawks
Eagles?
Or something, or the Eagles." Thank you. Dude, I told you I wasn't paying attention. Regardless, so she was like, all she said was the Chiefs. I'm like, I'm rooting for the Chiefs, and she goes, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's Dad's team. Of course, that's your team. I would root for them if they were in the Super Bowl, and I would expect you to root for the Cowboys if they made it to the Super Bowl instead of the Chiefs."
And my response was, I would say, "Go
maybe." Like, possibly. I was like, I will fight you. I will straight go to Texas and fight you.
You will never hear me say go cowgirls ever.
Listen here.
Ever.
Listen here. It's okay because
But
every time we
the
beat
reverse
Giants,
cowgirl,
like-
however.
Yeah.
Right? Big fan.
Settle down.
But it's okay because we consistently beat the Chiefs, and my boss gave me the stink eye for like 3 days afterwards. So there you go. For context, all of my coworkers and my supervisor are all they all live in New York, all of them except for me. So they're all from that area, so they're all big like Giants fans and things like that. I'm just like no. But
I find it funny we're discussing the Super Bowl here without Obbs and Nick,
Right?
where the
On
only two
episode
members
5.
who
Breakdown.
But no, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I didn't watch any of the commercials or anything like that. Apparently there was this whole big stink about Rihanna at the halftime show because she was pregnant or something,
And she wasn't doing much, but what do you expect? She's
pregnant. Like I didn't care enough. Like I just don't care enough.
Dude, it
about
is a
that
natural state of people to fucking find something to be pissed about. I am sure that there are a lot of people who sit down with fucking notepads and pens just trying to write down like every little thing, like I should be pissed about that. How dare they not include fucking this or that, or how dare they include this or that? You know, it's like
save that for things that grind your gears. This was episode 5.
I don't have a grind my gear. I have a things S pates, which I should.
Well, do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
On a different note and more relevant back to our actual interests as a gaming channel, I got some new RAM for my computer today, and I partially broke my computer trying to put the RAM in my computer.
Did you try to ram it in, thinking that that's what it was
I
supposed
did
to
what you did there. Well played, sir. Well played.
Well played.
Almost never do you play it well, but you played it well right there. Enjoy this moment.
Because that wasn't an obvious one at all. I fed that to you, sir.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's not the instructions.
Regardless, so I was taking apart my computer, and this is a computer that I've never taken apart before. It was a pre-built computer, and I never even thought about taking it apart until Ring suggested I buy more RAM because I was lagging a lot. I was lagging a lot when we were playing World of Warcraft, and I noticed that my computer did have a slot for RAM or for a second stick of RAM, but I just didn't have one. But I bought one. I bought 2 actually, and as I was taking apart my computer, I accidentally pulled off the faceplate where the power button was because I couldn't figure out how to open the computer. It turns out there's an access panel on the side that just slides off really easily. And I eventually got it in. I got the RAM in. I fixed the faceplate to the best of my ability, even though the cable that connects to the power button kept trying to come out. And because Val was on call with me when I was going through this time in my life, and I was
I did it.
I was cussing everything out. I was literally cussing everything out, and it didn't help that the kids were right behind me, running around acting like crazy people. It was bad juju's all around. But I eventually got it in, and I got the RAM in, and I got it all sorted out. I got my computer turned back on, obviously, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. And it runs beautifully now. I can play all my games without any lag. I can even play World of Warcraft on ultra high quality and no lag.
Good job, Steve Val, what you did. Oh, you're helping out. Step up, sis.
It's awesome.
So what I'm hearing is that you're replacing Ring as like the tech guy of the group.
That's what you
No.
No way.
I downvote that. No.
do. Damn, I downvote that.
I understand enough to install like hardware. Like I know where things go and can take things out and put them in properly. I can do that. Like A+.
I was gonna make a dirty joke, but
that's literally the term for it. Is A+. It's like hardware of the computer.
No, not that. Where you said I know where to put things and take them out. It's like I was gonna be like more than I know.
Yeah.
Excuse you, sir. Only one person in this universe is allowed to put anything in me, and he's not around right now. So.
Oh my god. Oh.
So we're gonna edit that one out.
Yes. That'll go out in the editing room.
Regardless. But yeah, everything runs beautifully and it's fantastic. I did a lot of DIY stuff today, and I'm proud of myself. So I'm sharing.
And Val, you always gotta be proud of Val.
Of course, I'm always proud of Val.
So that, and I just want to input going back when I said downvote. That wasn't going against what her not knowing what she's doing or anything ill will towards Jess. Ring has always been my go-to person when it comes to tech stuff. He's built 2 of my computers, and he
one of
has
mine.
done a great job on that. I would still
See,
probably
that's
have
good qualities right there.
And anytime I need help tech-wise, like tech stuff, like if S is not around, it's my go-to person would be Ring. It's always been Ring.
She said if Esp isn't around. You see that? Giving you a compliment there, SP.
Which I'm not very tech savvy. I honestly.
Sure, no lie. Stop that.
I'm not. I'm being honest.
Stop that lie.
Ring actually, when I wanted to have my own custom build back in 2016, I actually dragged Ring to a computer parts store in Austin. I made him go with me, and he helped me pick out all the components and helped me build my own custom computer back in the day. And if I ever get enough money to do that again, I will definitely be seeking out his expertise in that matter, because I would not want to do that, not from scratch, by myself.
And then she took him to Bill Miller's for lunch.
I think we went to Buc-ee's.
There's only 87 locations in the
Well, they went to Austin. I don't know if there's Bill Miller's in Austin. Is Bill Miller's in Austin?
Speaking of Buc-ee's, I'm getting one really close nearby me.
Who's
here.
talking about Buc-ee's?
I live right next to I live right next to Clarksville, and they're building a Buc-ee's in Clarksville.
But are they building a Bill Miller's?
I guess.
They would never build a Bill Miller's, and that makes me sad. And a Whataburger. I don't think I'm ever gonna have the sweet
Burger
taste
Boy
of
is actually
Whataburger.
delicious.
Again.
I think it's better than Andrew and I say it's better than Whataburger.
Ooh.
And that's saying something, because Whataburger used to be our favorite burger joint until they just put the shit.
Dude, you know what restaurant with the shit is Jack in the Box? I used to love Jack in the Box. And
You mean Jack in the Box?
If I'm slurring, I'm sorry. I have a very painful canker sore on the side of my tongue, and it does make it hard to.
Yeah, how'd you get that? What are you doing? Sucking on lemons?
It's a canker sore, man. It's just what the fuck. It's not. I don't have.
Hey! Indoor podcast voice. Thank you very much.
I'm just saying.
See what I did with Chad? You feel my pain, Nick. I know you do.
Nick. Speaking of Nick, I went to a movie with him last weekend. We went to see Puss in Boots.
I heard that was really good.
It is
like
really
the animated
good.
one, right? Not like the one you can't talk about right now.
Yes,
what the hell?
What?
I just want to make sure it's something. Right? We want to make sure this is YouTube friendly.
See, this is.
Otherwise, we're going to be doing next on OnlyFans.
This is why we never let Mr. Coffey enter the podcast. Like, he kind of wandered in this time.
Did you forget for not locking the basement door?
Anyway.
Oh shoot!
So.
Wow, this is a nice view in Elden Ring. Oh God.
What the hell?
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I do want to talk just a little bit about Puss in Boots.
As well, you should.
It was a real good movie. It was late at night.
To be honest, the critics love it and fans seem to love it, so I'm thrilled as somebody who loves Shrek. Me and Nick were on last weekend. It was like 10 o'clock at night or getting close to 10, and like we were just bored. And I told Nick, like, just to spur the moment, hey, you want to go catch a movie? And he's like, now? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what's playing? And I kind of looked up, and it didn't seem like there was anything really, playing at that time on the theaters nearby us except Puss in Boots. And I didn't think he was going to go for it. I was like, well, there's this one movie that I've heard really good things about, and it's playing right now, but I don't know if you want to see it. He goes, what, Puss in Boots? And I go, yeah. He's like, dude, I want to see that. I heard it was really good. So we did go, and yes, it is fucking good. But they went very much into the animation style of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But yeah, basic quick synopsis. Puss has been, the daring do, fucking legend cat that goes around, saving villages and stopping giants and all kinds of stuff. And very early on in the movie, he's having like this little party, which they party so hard
that it awakens a nearby giant who Puss gets into a fight with. And he manages to defeat the giant, but he's so careless and reckless when he does it that the giant had actually used this giant bell tower bell almost as a mace and was using it as a weapon to try to hit Puss. When the giant gets knocked out, he fails to realize that the bell has been flung up in the air and it comes down crashing on top of him, effectively killing him. And he wakes up in a doctor's office, and the doctor basically tells him, look, you died and you're on your ninth life. And he kind of goes through a flashback of all the different lives that he's lost, and each one of them have been through careless act. Like, he just doesn't care. Like, there's even one part where he goes to a restaurant and he wants to eat shellfish, but he's allergic to shellfish, and he knows this, and he still eats it and dies from that. So like none of his lives, he's never really cared. He's always kind of literally laughed in the face of death, so to speak, and he just kind of goes on his way. And the doctor tells him, look, you need to retire. This is your last life. If you die this time, it's for good. And he kind of shrugs him off. He's like, I am Puss in Boots, I do not care, and whatever. He goes to this bar, and he has, his
I thought Antonio Banderas was in this chat right now. That's how good that was.
Mira, yo soy Diablo Gato, the furry lover.
Yo.
Oh, that's something else, and again, we're not doing
that's
that.
That's literally what he calls himself.
Play YouTube after
he calls
dark,
himself,
so
I am
just change subject.
Frisky two times, Diablo Gato, the furry lover. That's literally what he calls himself. But anyway.
Again, why do you do it again?
Anyway, he's at a bar drinking his leche, his milk, when this wolf comes and sits beside him, but he doesn't even feed him. He just kind of like apparates there. He just kind of appears. And
I've never been in this area before.
No way. Focus. Needs focus.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Oh.
I've never been in this area before, and I'm gonna die again. Sorry. Please. Oh, Jesus. Please continue.
See.
Well, I trust that you're streaming this for all our viewers who are curious to know what you're talking about. They can tune in later, right?
I've streamed some of my Elden Ring.
I'm just playing. She's shy. Anyway, so this wolf appears next to him, and he's like, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" And he brings out one of Puss in Boots' wanted posters. And Puss thinks that he's some kind of bounty hunter, and he's like, "All right, let's do this." And he draws his sword and he challenges the wolf to a duel. And the wolf straight up kicks his ass. Like, he's no match. Puss is absolutely no match for this wolf, to a point where he digs his sickle. He uses two sickles as weapons. Digs his sickle into... when Puss has his back against the wall, he digs his sickle into the wall, comes down on his skull, and you actually see blood. I was surprised to see the sight of blood. You see a trickle of blood come down Puss's forehead. And anyway, this scares the shit out of Puss. Like, for the first time in his life, he is actually scared. So he does decide to retire, and he hears about this crazy cat lady who takes in every cat that she meets, and she takes Puss in, and Puss lives with her, and for a while lives a very, very mundane life. That is until Goldilocks and the three bears come to the cabin looking for him. And at this time, Puss had met this little dog who his name, or what he's called from Puss in Boots, is Perito, which means little dog. And he's like this little Chihuahua type, super nice, nothing like a real Chihuahua, let me tell you that for a fact. Super nice, playful dog, but he's kind of dressed up as a cat so that he can live there too. Anyway, Goldilocks and the three bears are looking for a wishing star that had fallen to Earth. And supposedly Puss in Boots knows where it is and how to get there. So they're looking for Puss in Boots. When Puss in Boots hears about it, he's like, I thought it was just a legend. They leave thinking that Puss had died because he actually buried his armaments, I guess, his uniform. He buried his cape, his boots, his sword, and all that. And they dug up his grave, what they thought was his grave, and they find all this stuff, and it's like, oh, he must be dead. So they leave without Puss. And at that point, Puss is like, I guess it's real. And he knows where the map is. The map is in possession of this fucking Chungus guy, Big Jack Horner, who runs his own, like, illegitimate pie factory, which he does like money laundering or some other illicit shit. He breaks in, and there's this whole scene where they're stealing the map, and they end up meeting Kitty Softpaws from the previous movie. So they kind of steal it together, but they don't trust each other. They go off with Perito, and it's the three of them. So now there's like basically three teams that are looking for this map. Jack Horner, and all of his bakers who are trying to get it back. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and then of course Puss, Kitty, and Perito. And the whole journey, most of the movie is spent on this journey of them trying to get to the star. And let me tell you, the action scenes in this, there are several confrontations and stuff. I mean, they are good. They are actually really well done action scenes. They have you on the edge of your seat. And to cut the story short, basically they do eventually make it to the wishing star, and Puss's wish is he wants to wish for a new 9 lives, so that he doesn't have to worry about death anymore, at least for 9 more lives. And death, this wolf that he thought was a bounty hunter, turns up to be Death. And there's a line where he confronts Puss, and he's like, look, if you don't know who I am, I'm Death. And I don't mean that dramatically or poetically or whatever, sarcastically, whatever. He's like, I don't mean it in all these ways. I mean, I am Death, straight up, and I've come for you. So the whole journey, he is chasing Puss, and Puss is absolutely terrified of death, of dying. He's terrified of his own mortality. Well, they finally make it to the star, and on the star itself, they have one final badass confrontation, Death and Puss, where Puss is like, look, I'm tired of running. If I'm gonna die, so be it. And he gets his sword back, and he gets his hat, and he actually fucking fights Death, and it is a badass fucking fight scene. I mean, it's all fucking flippy Jedi type, swords clanging and stuff like that. And it is a really, really good fight. And Puss can't beat Death, but Death can't beat Puss either, to the point where he's like, this isn't any fun anymore. He's like, I wanted you because you were this arrogant, person who thought that Death couldn't touch him, and I don't see that anymore. I'll come for you again, Puss, but not today. And he just kind of leaves. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then Jack Horner comes out. At this point, he's giant. Because he has a magic bag that lets him do different things, and all of them kind of end up, trying to fight him. And in the end, the wish gets destroyed. Nobody gets the wish. They're all fighting for the wish, but the wish gets destroyed. And the good guys all get what they want, and Jack Horner ends up getting killed. I don't remember exactly how he dies, but yeah, he gets fucked. He gets effed in the A. But no, the movie is really pretty good. I really liked it. The fight scenes are what got me. The chase scenes, the fight scenes are very imaginative. They're very well put together. The animation style definitely goes back and forth between the original Puss in Boots or the Shrek movies to when it's an action scene. It kind of has that kind of weird choppy frame rate thing, but it works. It makes it look more comic bookish, and they went with that animation style for the fight scenes, and it works, and it looks really, really good. And it's a very good movie. So for anybody who hasn't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It is family friendly, but it does have a body count. There are people that legit die in this thing. They're not violent deaths. You don't really see them get slaughtered or anything like that. But there's definitely the heavy implication that they did die, and it's it's a really good movie, and I can't recommend it enough. I was very impressed. I went in with high expectations, and it didn't let me down.
Very nice.
So yeah.
Thoughts, Val?
She's in Elden Ring.
No.
Right,
Sorry.
exactly.
I had quit playing and I looked away for a minute. I scrolled. If we're still talking about Puss in Boots, my parents went and watched the movie and they loved it. But I did hear from a couple people, including them, that it has a lot of adult humor in it.
Oh yes, it's masked adult humor. there's this one scene where Perito gets kidnapped by by Goldilocks and the three bears, who are kind of on the fence of whether they're good guys or bad guys throughout the whole movie until the very end. But anyway, there's this one part where like Goldilocks and one of the bears they're insulting each other, and like the dog's like, "Oh, burn, he got you," and then does the same thing to the other one, and then they both turn to the dog and they're like shut up, and he's like, "Oh, is it my turn? Okay, you all are about," and now obviously it bleeps the bad words, but he's like, "You all are a bunch of flea-ridden motherfucking pieces of shit," like just beep beep, every other word is bleeped. And it's like, what the hell? This super nice dog who you think wouldn't hurt a fly and like so, just so innocent, turns out to have the biggest potty mouth in the whole movie.
So me.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
Wow.
Your persona of innocence was dispelled a long time ago.
No, I'm pretty innocent.
Yeah, sure.
Damn, that was quick.
But
these allergies. Oh look. Merchant over here.
something shiny caught her attention.
Yeah.
In the ring.
Campfire. That shit is that big thing. Okay.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that you guys know me so well here, and just straight answer to that is Val, period. You'd probably think I'm a lot more innocent than I actually am. But Val will call me out on my shit quick if I even attempt to fake that crap.
Honestly, Jess has more of a potty mouth than I do, and that's
saying something.
Because all the time.
She ain't showing me a coke.
I challenge you all to challenge this. I am the most innocent one here, and that's a fact.
Child, please.
Dude.
What you do to me on weekends?
Oh, okay, shut up. What the fuck?
What is
quite
happening?
Quite frankly, I believe that as no.
Yes. Coffey just stupid.
Right.
He's just spewing his poison.
Hey, you're the one that made dinner.
For me.
Oh Lord, here we go. I enjoy these conversations.
It's the truth, but Coffey likes to he fabricates like the most wild.
That's 3 syllables.
Like he comes up with the shit that is like not even founded in reality. Like it has no basis in reality. He'll just make shit up. Like, hey S, you remember that time that you took the fish to the prom or shit like that? Like what the fuck?
Took a fish to
like just that's the most random thing I could come up with because he comes up with shit like that. Like
it left a fish, but it went in as a trout, but it left.
I gave it best to mouth.
I did what you see there. Well done. That's 2 in 1 day. You should send the podcast right now. It's not going to get better for you. It's as good as it gets right here.
I think we can wrap things up here.
Can we, going back to the The Last of Us series, can we appreciate Ellie's dad joke books that she's been bringing to the table?
I love those puns so much.
Honestly, my favorite joke is about the okay, I know this is disgusting, but I'm sorry, but it's one that stuck. It's the diarrhea one. It runs in the genes.
Oh,
that
was a good one.
Yes, that. I was watching a video of her. It's just like not commentary as her recapping like everything that happened in the episode, but it was just like her talking about telling the jokes and that being her favorite one, and it had both her and Pedro just like laughing. Like it was hard for them to keep like a straight face during that one.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I like that. In today's episode, or at least the episode we watched today, I should say. I love where she basically invited Sam and Henry to join them before like all the shit, hit the fan, and Joel's like no, and she's like, oh, you can join us, don't worry, that's just how he is. He's like, Ellie, no, I said no, and then like I just bug him for like 3 hours straight, and eventually he's like, okay, fine. I love that.
I felt that though. I felt that. That's like kids in general though.
Mm-hmm.
But
definitely my kid.
Yeah.
I love Ellie, man. I love this. I don't remember the actress's name, but I love her portrayal of Ellie. Such a great.
I found out in an article online. I didn't even think about it until like I saw it in the article, but she also played in Game of Thrones. She was the, I guess, Lord of Mormont, the Bear Islands in Game of Thrones.
She a bear queen? That's badass.
Yeah, it was. I found that out. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize they were the same person. That's adorable.
Well, I didn't realize she was 19 though.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't seem 19.
No, she definitely seems young. She definitely seems around 16.
But I think that's just Hollywood. And her.
In the fucking 90s, you had 30-year-olds playing high school kids, man.
Leave 90210 alone.
But that was most of 90s shows. These were like grown-ass adults playing these kids. You see it in 90210, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Saved by the Bell.
Fucking
all of them, pretty much.
Dude, original OG Power Rangers was the shit, and I will never come. I would die in that hell. I would die.
All right, so tune in next week's, folk. When
yes, I think
if we're talking about the Power Rangers, then rest in peace.
The White Ranger.
Yeah, the well, green. Most people know him as, but yes, he was a White Ranger. But again, hit the outro.
The outro. All right.
Get the music.
Odds and enders, in and outers, like and subbers, twist and shouters. We want to thank you for tuning in yet again this week to another installment of Shoot the Shit Saturday. Again, I was Espionage DB7, joined by the hostess with the mostest, Valkyrie Grinder.
Y'all take care. Bye.
As well as our two guest podcasters, Mr. Michael Coffey and Jess.
I'm still full of rage, but not as much as earlier. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Tune in next time. And
they're gonna do it to me again. Damn. I don't get no outro up in this motherfucker. I don't get no intro up in this bitch. Damn.
He does that too.
See, Nick, this is the shit I'm talking about. The next time you see Esp, you kick him in the gonads for me, because he did this shit to me 3 times. 3 times, Nick. You heard him do it to me 3 times.
That reminds me of that. So you remember Gonads and Strife? Somebody here has got to be old enough to remember Gonads and Strife, right? Yeah. When you're a kid and you want to go wee, but you ain't got drugs yet, you hold on for your life. Hold on to your little Gonads and Strife. Ooh. Gonads and Strife. Gonads and right? Chat. Somebody remembers that, right? Right?
No.
Somebody.
Lord Jesus, take the wheel.
Gonads.
Okay, we're getting distracted again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.